Hi Diane, here's your Pilates flow that's just going to keep you ticking over until I see you again at Easter. So I'd like you to come and find your Pilates posture. So just remember, feet together, turn the toes out, swing the heels out, have a little rock through the feet. Feel your feet evenly spread on the mat. I know you like a little turnout, so do your little turnout and then feel the crown of the head lifting. And in doing so, you'll be realigning your body, tucking that pelvis a little bit to get your neutral position. Switch the thighs are on, the bottom's on, knees are relaxed, breath is diaphragmatic. We're breathing in, allowing the ribs to open, and then starting to feel the exhale, switching on the tummy muscles. We're not gripping, but that's the action that you want to feel. Deep breath in. Ribs are moving, and then on the exhale, a little tightening and awareness around the tummy, all the power coming from the core. Let the shoulders melt down. So we'll start with lifting the shoulders up and round into your shoulder rolls, breathing in, breathing out, and notice how everything else stays very isolated to allow you to find the full range of movement in those shoulders. Go back the other way as well. So there should be some effort in moving those arms around. Once you've done a few in both directions, settle the shoulders down and then let the neck have this be the star of the show for a moment. So you keep the shoulders still, the hands can just be resting down by your sides, turning the head as if you're looking over one shoulder and then the other, keeping the breath nice and even, nice and low and slow. And then coming back to the center, dropping the chin towards the chest, looking up to the ceiling. Continue breathing gently. And then if it feels good to do so, you could always do a circle if you wanted to. Just go easy as you circle the head around. If ever you want to pause the video and do more, you can. And let's go back the other way, but I don't want to make it so long that it feels arduous. So I'll just do one roll in each direction. Okay, and then coming back through, bring the chin back parallel to the floor. We're going to slide the arms up into our VW. So the arms are pulling back without the ribs popping. Inhale, exhale with some pressure back towards the back of the room. Bring the elbows down and in, and breathing in to lift and breathing out to gently squeeze down. Feel like you're creating angel wings that are expanding. Your shoulder blades are sliding out and then they slide and glide in towards each other. A little bit of a squeeze of the shoulder blades in as you come down. We'll do that one more time and we'll flow straight into your tray openers from here. So we hold the hands out like a tray and then we rotate and squeeze back towards the back of the room. Breathing steadily, still keeping all that lovely posture. We're not slouching. There's energy up and energy down through my body. And one more time. Lovely. And relax. You might want to just sort of roll that out for a moment. We're going to work into our twist. Take the arms forwards without pulling your body forwards. And then remember, as we open the arm, we're also rotating. So the chest rotates. We look back towards the back of the room and then we slide and glide everything back to center. We breathe in, other side, rotate. So the chest is rotating. We're wringing out the spine, waist, obliques are working, hips are pointing forwards. We'll do that again. Breathing in, breathing out. Shoulders are down, jaw is relaxed, smiling helps, and then coming back through to the center. Place the hands together in front of the chest. That will allow the chest to stay upright as we bend down into our squat and rise. We come back to posture and come back down. So squeezing down and feeling a nice low squat. You can always warm up for that. Just do a couple of gentle squats and then maybe get a bit deeper. But remember, I also want you to think about your posture as you come back up. Crown of the head reaches. We're back into alignment. And then I know your posture is good and I know that your balance is good. So we can also float up onto the toes on the next one. So we're going to come up and we're going to keep going up onto the toes. Look how we're stacking everything. Okay, so the minute the head tips forwards or the shoulders tip forwards, look what happens. That's heavy. I'm going to get tipped forwards. So you've got to push back up, realigning, crown of the head reaches, and then everything stays still. Okay, but it is your core, I promise. Think about your core, that out breath. Okay, and one more time. power through the core. Now, do you remember I also made you do this, which is really mean? I kept those heels off the ground and we did a little squat and stand. Now, there is a temptation because you're on your toes, the weight will be a little bit forward. It's hard not to be, but just try to retain your posture with those heels off the ground, driving up through the crown of the head. It doesn't matter if you wibble wobble. In fact, it's good because otherwise it's far too easy. You want to strengthen the ankles, so you need a bit of wibble wobble. Okay. Nice, but get right up on those toes. Don't do a half lift. Okay, and place it back down. You might need to shake it out. Then I got you to grab your band and we did a little bit of strengthening around the shoulders. So we find our posture again. Take the arms forward, shoulders are back and down. We take a breath in and then exhale. The power comes from your core. Okay, if the power's coming from my shoulders, I'd be up here with my ears and I'd be yanking and it's all very tense. If I slide the shoulders down and I think about my breath, big rib cage breath in, on the exhale, tummy, bum, breathe. And we want a controlled open and close. Okay, so there's power coming or benefit coming from both directions. Here's the contraction, shortening of the muscles, here's a lengthening of the muscles, and we want power in both directions. So don't rush the in or the out. If you feel like you need more strength, just bring a tighter grip onto the band, shorten the band off. You may only need to do 6, maybe 8. The second it feels like you're being pulled forwards or your shoulders are rising, you take a break, roll it out. You can always go nice and wide on the band and just float up and down for a moment and wake up the shoulders, or maybe it's just a little side stretch. Whatever you need to just let the lactic acid and let your form return. Okay, and then we are going to head down onto the mat. Okay, so we're going to travel to the back of the mat. Now, I normally get everybody to do a couple of roll downs because we get them to do a down dog and walk out. You're not going to be rolling down. You're going to slide down into a little squat and we're going to do our standing cat cow. We round everything, lift the tailbone, lift the head. So this is what you would be doing in class. There's a couple of other people that do a similar thing. And then as everybody else is starting to roll up, you're going to join us. You'd roll up and whatever we do at the top you would do. Normally it's a bit of extension work and maybe some arm circles. Okay. Then we would be walking out to down dog. You can just step it down. Let's talk about plank actually. Remind me to talk to you about plank and whether you're happy to do a plank. If you're not, then Superman is a great alternative. So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, push the ground away, breathe in for cat-cow, exhaling, chin towards the chest, tucking the bum under, and inhaling to lift the head and lift the tailbone. We'll do 2 of those. Coming back to center. Okay, straight into Superman. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, right arm, left leg. Paper cups on the back of the shoulders, back of the hips. If you wobble to the outside edge or the inside edge of the resting knee, then perhaps you'll look like this and tip over. You just refine your balance, refine your alignment, refine your core, your breath, and some awareness of where your shoulders and your hips are in space. Really lengthening, challenging that core position. We'll do 1 more, right arm, left leg. Again, you could do, 8 on each side, 10 on each side, or just 4, whatever feels right. You can always pause this video and do a few more. I had you also doing a little thread the needle. Why not? Let's take the right arm through, exhaling as you travel through, inhale center, and exhale again through into that little thread the needle. Great for the back and a bit of resistance work for that standing arm. Then we came off the wrists. We went to our band. We hooked our feet and we did a little curl down. So would you remember we walked our bum back, breathe in, nice and long and high up, reaching up through the crown of the head. And then exhale, we tuck our bottoms under. There's a pelvic rot, the tips are tipping backwards, and you came to about here. You can go lower. Some people, of course, we're going much, much lower. I don't want you low yet. We're going to just travel from an inhale, straight spine, to an exhale, curl. Shoulders are relaxed, thighs are relaxed. You can always bend the knees a little bit if you need. traveling up, lengthening the tummy muscles, breathing in through the ribs, exhaling nice and low, feeling a tightening around the core, and that should free up the shoulders to be nice and relaxed. May just do 4 of those, and that might be enough. Whenever you do want a break, I would just go forwards into a hamstring stretch. So you could come up, fold forwards, you can bend the knees as much as you need, walk down the band, and just settle into a hamstring stretch. That will undo any tightness, working on undoing tightness in the hamstrings. So take a moment, breathe, try not to get tight. You can always come out of it, breathe, and then flow back into it. Okay. You could do a second set of that if you wanted to, just another curling down. Could do a couple more of those, maybe 4 more, just helping to start build up some strength around the middle. Second that you don't feel right, you just take a breather, either forward stretch, or you're going to do what we are going to do next, which is just take some pressure off the back. Either curl down, actually that's going to be too much for you at the moment, fingertips down, elbows down, and then bring the knees in, just to support you coming back. Have a little roll around, maybe a little stretch, whatever you feel helps just turn it all off. I do love an arms out wide and a knee drop, because I think it really stretches everything without any pressure on the body. Let the head drop the opposite way. So this is a great position for whenever you're doing anything on your back and you need a breather. Knees to chest or knee drops is great. Then coming back through to the center. So what we were doing in class today was some ball squeezes. Do you remember that? So I think you even did the ring today. Yes, you did. So you could put the ball between the knees. You've got your alignment on the mat, neutral pelvis, neutral spine, and then squeeze, exhale, inhale, release. So we've got a lovely relaxed shoulder, jaw, neck position. We're thinking about the tummy supporting this action, but it's very much an inner thigh squeeze and release. Okay, exhale, squeeze and release. And I mentioned to you, so you carry on with those. I mentioned to you that I might in class say, right, for those of you that want to go up a level, legs up into tabletop, shouldn't change anything about your alignment. You just lift the legs, and the tummy's got to work a bit harder because it hasn't got support from the feet. And I might eventually, maybe midway through the term, encourage those that want to curl up and down while they do it. Now you're just going to, certainly for the first term of classes, we're just going to focus here, building up the strength and being sensible. Okay, so don't feel pushed on. And then we did some pulsing. So we kept the pulse, we kept the pressure on, and we pulsed it, pulsed it, pulsed it. Try not to get tense. Pulse it, all the power from the lower half and the core. These are strong. It doesn't look like I'm hardly doing anything. These are strong. 2 and 1. And then I would just go back to one of those lovely relaxing moves. Okay, and have a breather. Then we left the lower body alone, and we did a little combination with either the ring or the band. You like these, so we inhaled, exhaled, and pulled wide. Shoulder blades are wide, and then they will kind of come in a little bit, and pulling wide. Inhaling, exhaling. So just start to build up that, as I say, that strength around the upper body, taking some pressure off the neck and the jaw. So don't get tense while you're doing it. And you can do exactly the same thing with the ring. Do you remember we were doing the push and release and the push and the release? And you did do it with your ring, but just below the knees here as well. Okay, not on the knee joint with your squeezes and releases. So I'll leave it up to you whether you feel that you want to do that. I then encourage you to just stretch that off. You can go all the way back, or you could just go a little bit forwards and back. Or if ever that's too much, just half levers, circling around and breathing. Okay, we did some bridging. So if you'd like to do a little bit of pelvic rocking, arching the spine, and then imprinting the spine, neck and shoulders relaxed. And then breathe in to prepare, exhale, start to push your feet into the floor, tilting the tailbone up and then flowing up like a bicycle chain. Not too high that you're putting too much strain on the neck, the knees, the hips, the shoulders are in a straight line. Breathe in and then exhale to travel from the top of the spine all the way down, taking your time.
to place the hips back down. You can just go to neutral, or you can overarch, and then inhale, exhale to roll again, all the way up. Inhale, and exhale all the way down. Nice. That should have stretched the back off a little bit, but we'll do a cat-cow just to finish. So you could do a little knee to chest hug, you can have a stretch, and then roll over. Oh, we did do, Diane, I'll leave it up to you. I just don't want to make this video too long. We did do some hamstring stretching, rocking the legs forwards and backwards. We did some footwork, rolling, flexing and extending. And we even did a little bit of circling the leg, didn't we? And practicing stability through the core. So let's just do a little bit. I'll just do a few minutes of that, doing a couple of circles, both directions. And this is your challenge, to keep this left hip, left shoulder down while you're working on the right side. Back to the left leg, little rocks. You will feel, as you bring the leg in, you'll feel the spine imprint for a moment, and then back to neutral. Again, a little bit of flexing and extending the foot, rolling the foot around. Very neglected area, our ankles and our feet, and their foundations of us at the end of the day, so I'll try and put some emphasis on that. And then right arm out to the side, right shoulder, right hip is stable as we start to work the left leg into a gentle circle or a sweeping circle, whatever you feel you want to do, and back the other way. So we're really getting the synovial fluid going in the hips. Again, nice, healthy, strong, supple hips is important. And then coming back through to the center. So you could spend a bit more time on that if you wanted to. And then roll over to your side, come up nice and safely. Bring yourself around to your cat-cow. We're going to reverse what we did at the beginning. Wrists under shoulders and knees under hips. Breathing in. Exhale, chin towards the chest. Tuck your tailbone under. And inhale to lift. One more time, rounding. And lifting. And this is where I'd come to neutral and down dog, but we're just going to roll back into a little crouch and then bring ourselves up nice and sensibly. And you might want to push up your thighs and then come back up and have a stretch. We did a little bit of bicep curls, didn't we, here? So you could grab some weights. You could just do maybe 4, 6 bicep curls. You could do your triceps, turn the palms back, and a little squeeze back. You don't even have to use the weights. You can just do the action if you prefer. And certainly for the shoulder press, you might want to do it without any weights and just get used to the idea of lifting. And you know what? The power of imagining you've got heavy weights is quite incredible. Sometimes the body believes it. So you could always practice the action without the weights and release. And then shoulder rolls back the other way. Look over one shoulder, look over the other. Chin to chest, lift. One time, chin to chest, lift. Bring the chin back parallel to the floor, and you're done. Thanks, Diane. Any questions at all, just let me know.